Hey, this is Cool Trains in Montreal, and it's been a long time since I've done a train video with my N-scale locomotives and train cars. And so I figured I'd do one now. It's kind of winter time, so I'm going to be outside less, obviously, with the weather turning colder and rainier. And since I'm going to be doing that, I thought I would show one of the last things I think I did was set up here for some of my odds and ends cars. These are grain hoppers, and this is why I have my grain elevator. I don't know if I've shown it, probably in a few videos. Definitely in one of the videos where I had a lot of my buildings. So this giant grain elevator is here on this display layout because I have a lot of these grain cars here. And this grain elevator, just to give you a little bit of a idea of what it is, it's 3 Walters kits that I picked up a long, long time ago at the Coin de Cheminot, probably 20 years ago. And I got them for a real deal because they were not complete kits. They had all the silos, and it was 3 kits, but they had only one of the towers there. So I got it for maybe 20 bucks, and that was amazing because now for 20 bucks, for less than a price of a real out of the box grain elevator, I suddenly had one that could afford me this large export version. So, yeah, this is amazing. And so what I did here is I took some pieces from a couple of other kits. This is part of a Heljan model kit. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it's more like the one of the industrial buildings. And on the other side here, this is from the Walters kits themselves. And they have that long catwalk kind of thing that most of these grain elevators do. And I painted them in Testers, I think it was, paint. And it's basically the WC colors, Wisconsin Central. So, and I also got a different color tone here for these elevator silos. It's not quite the same concrete color that I painted this. And again, here a WC, the Wisconsin Central maroon, which I thought was a nice contrast. And those yellow cat walks, they came from a Bachmann kit that was a locomotive servicing racks. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty way to do things. So anyway, I have that along with some of these cars that I have. This is Saskatchewan. I love these cars. You see these a lot in the trains in the Montreal area too. This is what they're supposed to look like without all the graffiti. A lot of the time when you see them, the yellow line is missing because people tend to write at the bottom of the car because that's the easiest part. And personally, I just don't like it when they do that because look at the graphics on this car. It doesn't need any kind of graffiti to make it stand out. It's amazing. It's cool. Yeah, and so the next set of cars I want to show here are these Kansas City Southern cars. Now, I love these too because these are the new, when I say new, I mean like 10 years old probably, but this reflects the new Kansas City Southern. They used to have this gray with red KCS symbols, and then they returned to what this is really the older Kansas City Southern Belle inspired from their old passenger trains in the 1950s. You know, this red and yellow and this classic looking Kansas City Southern Herald, which you just don't see that kind of detail in freight railroads heraldry anymore. So it's really awesome. And the colors really stand out. I'm not sure how many of these remain in real service because I think I see a lot of them where it's just the yellow stripes, yellow and red stripes and black. But I got these a long time ago, maybe 2006, 2007. And yeah, they're really awesome. And so here is my SW9. This is a lifelike locomotive in the CN, well, the modern CN, what you call it, noodle scheme with the single stripe and the red end. It's not the perfect paint scheme for this. I think maybe they only did one like this, but it is very cool. And I recently, when I say recently, probably in the last 6 months, had the couplers changed out so that they're compatible with these KD couplers that I'm using. And here, the last rail car that I bought at Hobby Junction before it closed. This Union Pacific Precision Masters car. Not sure how old this car is in terms of the kit itself. Probably from the mid-90s, I would say. But it's still a beautiful car, and I mean, I got it for like 15 bucks, I think. So, I mean, that today you can't get a rail car new from anywhere for less than like 25 bucks, I'd say. So I did pretty good on that. And then, of course, I'll show up here. This is my roadway. This is my bridge. This is really cool. Finally, I've been waiting for so long for these new look buses to come out from Rapido Trains. Now, I got this one in yellow because I'm planning to use it as a transit bus for Hamilton, Ontario. But it's really cool, whatever colors you get it. And I like the colors for this because the yellow stripe doesn't really interfere with, like, you know, the band of windows. Like, say, the Toronto bus, it's all black and you can't really see those slanted windows, which are the hallmark of these buses. Most Canadian buses, of course, didn't have the air conditioning flap or whatever that is, the big air conditioning bulge in the back, but it doesn't detract it at all. And really, the only thing missing here is like some kind of advertising, because these buses were like famous for having advertising on the side. And yeah, this is beautiful. It's no comparison. So here I got some of my trucks, which I got from another company in the Montreal area that went out of business. That would be, what do you call it? That one on the carry. I'll think about it later on and put it in the description. But yeah, I got some really good truck deals off them. Everything was half price back in the day there, probably a year ago when that closed. And here are my Alberta cars. Now I have about 5 or 6 of those, and those are cool because each of them have a different name of the city here. It says take an Alberta break or whatever, and it has a city there. And this one is what? Eagleham or something like that. Never heard of the place. It is a real place, I'm sure. Yep. And then here, of course, I have some of my other cars, and I'm going to move my train in a minute to bring out a view of here. One of the last cars that I bought at also Hobby Junction. This is my Toronto, Hamilton, and Buffalo cylindrical hopper, which is really amazing. I really like the colors. Yeah, sure, it's black and white, but the graphics are really cool. I mean, look at that. And I wish I had a couple more of them, but I mean, they're pretty expensive now. $30, I think, new. So yeah, I just can't afford that anymore. But back in the day, yeah, you could actually get a fleet of these cars for a decent price that wasn't going to break the bank. So that's my old Alberta Heritage Fund car. And this is a kit of scraps, basically, that I built from a bunch of the old DPM kits. Just some extras lying around. And yeah, it's got that kind of weird, odd shape that it was inspired basically by a couple of buildings that you see. If you go to the St. Jacques Street Bridge down in Ville St. Pierre, there's this warehouse that's kind of this odd, wedge shape. And yeah, obviously it's not brick, but yeah, this looks really great, if I have to say so. I mean, yeah, it needs some roof detail, basically. But, it is pretty good. And, of course, my bridge, which is not really finished, but it's passable. Needs, like, some guardrails there and, a few other details. And luckily here, my engine runs pretty well, considering I have not cleaned this in a couple of months because of my hand being messed up. But look, that runs pretty well. And yeah, this is a small setup that you could do easily on your own. If you're in a small situation like an apartment, you just need this to basically test your locomotives and make sure they run fine. And this is just a back and forth kind of thing. I mean, obviously I'm going to have my circular layout soon. This will be what I work on in the winter, I think. But yeah, this works pretty well. Yeah, considering I haven't really run this in months. Yeah, so I thought I would show this off uh, before I started working on my cylinder, my circular layout. Anyways, and I'll have to show also some new stuff that I've bought. Not very expensive stuff, because I'm not really in that rich kind of mindset right now. But this is some of the stuff. Like I said, I bought this a long time ago, and I've been in the hobby now for probably 35-40 years. So over that time period, I've accumulated, a lot of these rolling stock and a lot of these kits, and I've built a lot of these kits in the last probably 10 years. Yeah, so if you like what I do, please subscribe to Cool Trains in Montreal, and I will be bringing you soon, as this winter progresses, some more model train stuff. Especially, I was hoping to be able to get to the model train display at the Vermont and Essex show. They were going to be doing the show again this year. However, they canceled it about 10 days before the show was supposed to happen, November 27th. So I'm waiting now to see if there's going to be a new date, so I can get into the Vermont and Essex layout, which I have not been to in like 2 years. And apparently they have a lot of new stuff, a lot of new scenic areas, and as well, of course, I would like to get to the 1950s layout, which I haven't really documented to its fullest. So when they announce their new open house date, I will post that, of course, on my Cool Trains in Montreal Facebook page, and hopefully bring you a lot of good videos from that. So until the next video, have a good day, and if you like what I do, please subscribe, and have a nice day.